Kickoff Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, joined as always by my partner Michael Wallace. We are courtside here at FedEx Forum, where the Memphis Grizzlies are getting set to take on the Houston Rockets, a matchup of the number 2 team in the West against the number 3 team in the West. Two teams both looking to prove something. And Mike, we were sitting here previously listening to the coaches talk, watching the players warm up. Feels like there's a little bit more at stake here than just a regular season matchup, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And when you have the familiarity between these two teams, I mean, Dillon Brooks is right behind us. We know what he meant to this organization and what he's done, coming in as one of the original second-round draft picks who outperformed his draft stock in terms of where he was. And then, you know, you look at Jeff Green, the guy who came here in the mid-2000, like 2014, was supposed to be the final piece to put that team into contention for a few years. And then obviously Steven Adams. Those are 3 names right there who are going to be on the court and in the rotation tonight to go up against the Grizzlies. So, yes, there's not going to be any love lost for these guys, but it's also because of where they are in the standings, it's a litmus test for both of these teams.
Yeah, the Rockets are 24-12. The Grizzlies are 24-13. Both teams have had okay last couple games. Grizzlies had those couple of losses and bounced back. The Rockets won 3 of their last 4. The one loss was to Boston.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say,
shame in that.
Yeah,
no
that's
shame
okay.
in that. Yeah.
But Grizzlies have been a great team offensively and defensively, but a lot of those wins got stacked up against teams not that high up in the standings. Taylor Jenkins talked about, we have a clip of this, I think, Kyra, pregame tonight. Taylor Jenkins talking about what this matchup means to this Grizzlies team and how they can use this to measure themselves.
Obviously, we've addressed it with the team, and I think that's one of the great strengths of the Rockets teams, obviously Ime teams, but the personnel that they have, they impose their will, physicality on the defensive side, but even offensively with the force that they play with, the amount of guys that crash the boards, they got dynamic offensive talent. It's a physical game, and it's going to be a battle for 48 minutes. You got to come out with the right edge. You got to know that they're not going to let up, even when you have a lead. You know, we've had our battles with them where a lead, and they just flip a switch, and it's a 10-point lead turns into a 20-point deficit like that. So you got to come in on edge. It's a will or won't mentality, and hopefully we have that tonight.
Taylor used that phrase, will or won't mentality, a couple of times when he was talking about the Rockets. I don't really know what that means, but I think he means something about it's more of a challenge to the Grizzlies team. Like, do you want it or not?
Yeah, absolutely. So you know it. You do know what it means. Hey, either you will show up and meet their physicality, or you won't. It's going to be simple. There's no middle ground. There's no margin for error in that. Either you're going to show up tonight and match this team's physicality, or they're going to be able to beat you up and handle it. Don't blame the refs. Go out there and be physical with them, but do it smart. Defend without fouling. Don't get into the mud with them if you don't want to, and make them play at your pace.
Well, Ime Udoka talked also before the game. Mike was in there and got this video of Ime Udoka talking about how this matchup between the Grizzlies and the Rockets is a team that the Rockets are going to have to get past if they want to get to where they want to go.
Obviously, we're near each other in the standings, so more so than the standings, I'd say just the top-tier teams. It's a barometer for us to, test it out. We had some really good teams at home in this last 5-game stretch, and then before that had some of the lower teams. And so try to play how we play regardless, but you look at the standings, see when you're next to each other, and could potentially mean something down the line. And so other than the fact that we played them only in the second game, and they were very different without Jackson Jr. in that game, so it'll be a good test for us.
He's a low talker. I didn't realize Udoka was such a low talker.
He's a smooth guy, man. He's a smooth guy.
The one thing about this Grizzlies team is if they're going to get this win tonight, it's got to go through Jaren Jackson Jr. And Jaren has been awesome the last 2 months of the season. All season, really.
All season, yes.
But these last 6 games, particularly against when playing 30 minutes, he's averaging almost 30 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists a game. Against Dallas the other night, the 119-104 win over Dallas, Jaren had 35 points, 13 rebounds, and has really been like that kind of rock for this Grizzlies team this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jaren, what he put up in that game against Dallas was a statistical line that had never been done by a Grizzlies player before. 35 points, 13 rebounds. I think he had 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. So when you talk about all of those lines, all of those minimums, that had never been done in franchise history. So that's what Jaren Jackson Jr. is bringing to the table tonight. Fortunately, he's going to be be able to play. He came into tonight on the injury report listed as questionable because of a thigh contusion. He's going to play through that. There's no way Jaren Jackson Jr. was going to miss this game because guess what, Lang? He missed the first time these teams played. 2 games into the season, Jaren missed the first 3 games of the season with that hamstring he was dealing with from training camp, and they lost. They got blown out in Houston. He doesn't want to be in that situation tonight, so he's going to be out there giving it his all.
I thought what was interesting in that Dallas game was Dallas has a lot of bigs, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. Jaren's right next to us right now, although, by the way, doing a
meet and greet
with the Jaren Jackson Jr. basketball camp people. Dallas had a lot of bigs to throw at Jaren. In the first quarter, he was kind of figuring out what to do. And then the Grizzlies went to that lineup with Jay Huff and Jaren in together. The big on Dallas would guard Jay Huff, and then Jaren was just feasting against all the smaller players they had on him. That's, I think, to me, has been the most heartening thing about the way Jaren's played, especially this season, though. Like, you give him a mismatch, and everyone's a mismatch against Jaren. He's taking advantage of that and scoring, rebounding, doing whatever he can do.
And he's identifying it early enough. And the most impressive part about Jaren's production this season to me has been the assists. He knows the double team is coming. There's some nights when he has turnovers, but he figures it out. Passing out of the double teams, understanding how teams are going to defend him. They know that you can't go one-on-one against Jaren Jackson Jr. But when you send 2 at him, he knows how to find the open shooters, and that's going to be a precursor because I think Taylor found something with that J Huff Jaren Jackson Jr. pairing, and then with Santi back now as well, you're going to see a lot of that as well.
The other thing that I thought in that Dallas game, we've seen the Grizzlies in those last 2 losses at Golden State, Sacramento. Just come through, Jaren. Talking about you right now. What's up? It's our special guest, Jaren Jackson Jr. We've seen the Grizzlies in those 2 losses had a lot of troubles with turnovers and trying to keep the ball. And against Dallas the other night, they had 6 turnovers in the first quarter. You're thinking, oh boy, here we go again. But then they only had 7 the rest of the game. And I wonder if they start to kind of find some ways now to accomplish their same goals, move quickly, play fast, all that stuff, but just take care of the ball a little better.
This is a different team, though, because Houston is a disruptive defensive team. They're a top 10 defensive team. That Dallas team was missing a lot of their frontline guys, right? But this Houston team has Fred VanVleet is a ball controller. He runs pace. You know what I mean? They got Jalen Green on the perimeter. They got different guys that are out there, and they're interchangeable on that perimeter. They're going to bulldog you, so you have to be able to be strong with the basketball. Oklahoma City plays like that, too. So if the Grizzlies learn anything from that Oklahoma City game in terms of the ball pressure and the switchability of those guards on the perimeter defensively, they're going to be able to apply what they learned in this game tonight.
The good news for the Grizzlies is tonight, it seems like the help's coming finally. We've seen this team decimated by injuries for most of the season and playing through that. But tonight, a bunch of the guys who were listed as questionable, Taylor Jenkins says he thinks they're going to be able to go tonight.
Santi Aldama, who had been dealing with the ankle issue, missed the last 2 weeks, is going to give it a go tonight. Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously is going to give it a go tonight. John Moran is going to go through his workout momentarily, but it's trending towards him being available to go tonight. So, Desmond Bane is going to go tonight. He's been dealing with an ankle issue as well, too. So you're going to get frontline guys on frontline guys, which is why I'm so excited about this matchup, man. It may be frigid outside, but it's going to be burning up on the court in here.
I mean, for the Rockets, Tari Eason is out with injury management, and Jabari Smith Jr. is out with that hand injury, which is 2 of their main guys. So
and they've been playing without those guys during this recent trip. So they're kind of interchangeable, and the next man up for them.
So tonight is mentoring night. And we're going to get to that in a second, but we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Jessica Benson's going to join us. Elliot Perry is going to join us to talk about mentoring. And then we'll come back with Mike at the end of this. You're watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.
Dusty May was at Florida Atlantic last year. Tonight you'll watch him coach at Michigan. So why do I care if a football player decides to leave one place where he's making whatever money to go somewhere where he's making even more? It's what most coaches do every year. So I cannot stand it, and I mean can't stand it, when the coaches sit up there and act like these young people are doing something wrong.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number two.
Number one for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the Bells, Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the Bells and they made me remember.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one?
It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like, he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, y'all, to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, joined by Jessica Benson here to start off the second block. We're about 48 minutes away from the Grizzlies taking on the Houston Rockets, two of the top three teams in the Western Conference. A good measuring stick game for both of these teams. We have some late-breaking news. Ja Morant is active for tonight. Cam Spencer is out with a thumb injury.
Happens.
So, yeah, happens to the best of us. Jessica comes on now, and we always talk about the main character, and so you always lay it on me. Who is your main character?
Well, one, I wanted to make sure we matched. So Elliot Perry, who I know is coming on when I'm finished, was kind enough to give me a mentor shirt because I am a mentor. And so if anyone wants to be involved in the Grizzlies mentor program.
GrizzFoundation.org.
Yes, team mentor, that's what I do. It's incredible. As for the main character of the night, it's all the returnees, and that's all encompassing.
Okay.
For the Grizzlies, returnees of players who have been out. Ja Morant, as you just said, officially active, but as is Desmond Bane, as is Santi Aldama. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable, so we'll just include him in that list so nobody is confused that all of those players will be active for the Grizzlies. And then for the Rockets, the returnees of former Grizzlies in Dylan Brooks, in Steven Adams. There's always a little extra emotion. Jeff Green as well. Thank you. Don't let me forget Uncle Jeff in the mix of things. But all sorts of returnees here at FedEx Forum tonight. And honestly, it just sets up an even more fun night between the number 2 and the number 3 teams in the West.
Do you think this game, like, how do you see this game going? It's like a team that can be really physical defensively, the Rockets, against a Grizzlies team that has struggled some when teams are physical with them. And Taylor Jenkins talked about pregame, like, wanting the Grizzlies to match that physicality.
And we haven't seen them do that just yet. They've struggled against teams like the Lakers and the Clippers, and as you said, the Rockets early in the season, the Mavs the first time around when Luka was healthy in that game too. Obviously a different story when Dallas was here the other night. But this is a real opportunity, and getting more close to full strength gives a real chance to see where they're at this point in the season with being able to attack that physicality. They know it's a weakness, so this is where you start trying to improve upon the things that could hinder you once you get into the postseason.
Last thing, I'm on your show tomorrow morning.
Yes.
You're going to be here despite the impending snowfall that we hear is coming.
I will be sledding to work.
Do you want me to be here? I have a 4x4 vehicle. I should be able to make
Humble
it here.
brag.
Or would you like me to go outside in the snow and, like, report live?
It's a good question.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Let me think on it.
All right. Let me know.
If you would prefer to stay home.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Are you just trying to work from home?
No.
Like the rest of the city?
Look, my wife and son are going to be at home. Like, I don't mind getting out of the house. I mean,
all right.
I guess we can see in the morning. If it's snowing and stuff, it might be cool to be outside.
Exactly. Then you can be a reporter.
Yeah.
A weather reporter. But I'll be giving the forecast. If anyone's curious, 8 a.m., Grind City Media. I'll give you the drive-in forecast at that time.
Thanks, Jessica. Elliot Perry is going to join us, but first we're going to watch this clip of the other night on TNT when Charles Barkley was asked, who are your hardest working teammates you've ever had?
I love me some Russell Westbrook. He reminds me of a guy I played with in Philly named Derek Smith.
Like, the late great Derek Smith.
Like, if you didn't play hard, you felt bad.
I played with him in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's the hardest working player I ever played with. And he was one of the guys, like, I look at him, Elliot Perry, Dan Marley, Mark West. guys who played hard all the time, and you look at them like, I need to play hard. There's no way you cannot watch Russell Westbrook play and not play hard. He inspires you. He makes you want to play. Like, look at his effort, man. This dude, this little munchkin, he's down here rebounding. And what's amazing, this guy's had like 22 major surgeries, and he's still the most athletic guy
at his position.
In his position.
Yeah, he is.
Like, it's one of the most amazing things. But, man, I admire that guy. I respect that guy. You know, he's not a perfect player, but all you older fans is effort. And that guy, I've been in the NBA for 40 years. I've never seen a guy play as hard as that guy every single night.
Speaking of someone we all respect and admire, Elliot Perry joins us now, minority owner of the Grizzlies, chairman of the Grizz Foundation. And tonight's mentoring night. We all have the shirts, and we've seen the players wearing the shirts. I don't know anyone who has been as big an advocate for mentoring as you have been I've been here 8 seasons now. It's something I've heard you talk about constantly, and it's something you clearly passionately believe in. How did that start for you?
First of all, you know, I just feel like it's an obligation of mine. Obviously, my mentor, who is Michael Toney, you know, in my neighborhood, mentored me from the time I was in the 5th grade all the way through, and still mentoring me today, but had a tremendous impact on my life in terms of exposing me to different things, in terms of giving me the confidence that I need to really, you know, kind of get through life, kind of think about my own potentials and my own goals and really try to achieve those goals. And so I just think his ability to really push me when I had the opportunity to mentor was something that I was obligated to do.
How did having a mentor change your life? I know you said he pushed you and made you think about things. Like, do you ever think about, like, if that person wasn't part of my life, how would it have gone?
I always think about that, because a lot of it is really simple. There's a lot of things that your mentor is telling you. Sometimes it comes to light later on in life, you know, and so I can remember him. I think one of the most valuable lessons he taught me is when I was struggling, probably in the, you know, 7th grade or so. I got cut off the varsity, off the team in general. And when I was struggling, he just took me one day. He put me in front of a mirror and he said, "Hey, you see that little boy looking back at you? Everything you need to know, he's going to be the first one to tell you. He's going to be the first one to tell you when to quit. He's going to be the first one to tell you when, you know, to go." And so, you know, I think what he was trying to get over to me is, you got all the answers. God has given you everything you need, has given you all the ingredients you need. You just need to say, I can do this, and believe in yourself. And so, you know, I've taken that example and done it with my own daughter.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, the Grizzlies have this fantastic mentoring program, and you've been involved in that for a long time. What does it entail? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we think about an NBA franchise, how this all started, we're thinking about an NBA franchise when it first came to Memphis, and then how can you make a real intangible difference? Obviously, you could do camps, you could do all those things that's related to basketball, and we settled on mentoring because that was an opportunity for us to really, you know, connect people with people. It's something that's really tangible, and in a lot of ways it can help change lives. And so mentoring was what we set out to do in our platform here in Memphis, and it's been tremendous. Not only have a tremendous amount of resources been spent, but also lives have been impacted. You know, right now we have, you know, 4,000 plus mentors and over 11,000 mentees in a lot of the organizations that have partnered with us. And so we don't directly run a lot of the programs. We partner with organizations, but we do run what we call a team mentoring, and that's been incredible. I've been doing that for the last 8 years in team mentoring, where we pair 3 adults with 6 kids, and it's fantastic.
We played the clip of Charles Barkley talking about you earlier this week, talking about you were one of the hardest working teammates he ever had. Where did you get that work ethic from?
You know, just growing up in our neighborhood, you know, I always say
here in Memphis, right? Like,
here in Memphis, in North Memphis. I grew up in North Memphis, and, you know, I always say that where guys do a lot of drills, where guys lift weights early, you know, I didn't do any of that. We just played basketball. We played against a lot of the older guys, and really you had to earn your keep. And so in the community centers, you had the big end and the little end, and you're down on the little end. You're always looking at guys on the big end, and you know, one day the director said, "Hey, put your name on the list. You're on the big end." And so, you know, you had to do your thing down there, and so that's where that work ethic comes from. Plus, you know, obviously my family family has always supported me, and you know, I just feel so blessed to be a part of obviously this organization, but just in life in general.
Well, I think we're all blessed to have you as part of this organization, and thank you for your leadership and all you do. And if you want to get involved and being part of the mentoring, go to grizzfoundation.org.
Yeah.
And find out more about it. You can sign up and all that.
I want to say one last thing. I mean, we desperately need mentors, you know, but more importantly, we have a lot of kids out there that just need that little push.
Yeah.
You know, they have all the ingredients. They just need that little push of encouragement. They need that, you know, join the movement. They need that, you know, you to just help them reach their full potential. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a wonderful organization. The Grizzlies Foundation do a fantastic job of, you know, helping you and connecting you with the right people. And so, yeah, just please join the movement.
We appreciate you, EP. And you guys can listen to EP on the radio in about 40 minutes when on 92.9.
Hey, I'm looking forward to
the Grizzlies game starts up. This should be a good game tonight. We got two teams that are trying to prove something. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back here. We're going to close this thing out. You're watching the warm-up show on Grind City Media.
There was a tweet from NBA G League that Cam Spencer was, quote, unconscious. Cam Spencer had 51 points on 75% shooting. The Grizzlies front office ability to find talent late in the draft continues to be a massive, massive positive for this team.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the Tigers?
Tigers, go!
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Look at that. We got the whole Grizzlies team just infiltrated our studio. Santi Aldama's in the house. Look at everybody. The whole Grizzlies team. Look at Zach Edey's in the house. John Morant's in the house. Say hello. Say hello.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the warm-up show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, joined by Michael Wallace, and we're about 6 minutes from giving you over to FanDuel Sports Network. I said FanDuel TV. FanDuel Sports Network and ESPN 92.9 for the pregame shows on those outlets, and the broadcast itself will start in about half an hour. Heading into tonight's game, we always go around the NBA, and like we always do at this time, a couple of topics to get to. The first one, Jimmy Butler, has been a big topic in Memphis the last few days. There was all this talk. Is he going to come to Memphis? Is the Grizzlies going to get him? And then yesterday we finally heard that maybe he doesn't want to come to Memphis or Milwaukee or some other places. Does this end the Jimmy Butler talk, at least here with us?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I never thought it was going to be a one-team type deal anyway. I think Jimmy's going to be linked to ultimately what becomes a 4-team deal. You know, Pat Riley loves to incorporate multiple teams into these kind of things just to make sure multiple teams get what they want. And Phoenix is, if Jimmy's hell-bent on going to Phoenix, which he said that's the only team that he would sign an extension with, you know, maybe he gets to Phoenix, but it's going to take routing 2 other teams involved in a deal. And I think the Grizzlies will be at least on the phones to see what they can get out of this from an asset standpoint as well.
How much of it do you think is going to be dependent on him being willing to sign an extension with whoever goes after him? Because he can opt out after this season.
He can opt out, but $52 million is a lot of money to leave on the table when you're 35 years years old, and you're not going to recoup that, right? I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to pay Jimmy the max. Maybe one. And if it's two, then Brooklyn has the money to do it. But are they going to commit to Jimmy Butler in their superstar shirts next year? I don't know. I think the options are very, very limited. But, you know, hey, if he wants to win a championship, though, there are some teams that can maneuver, including this Rockets team. They have assets, and they have, you know, they can get creative with cap space, too. And if you bring in Jimmy to the Rockets, or if you bring in Jimmy to Denver, or you bring in Jimmy to even the Spurs, if he wants to do it for 1 year to win a championship, those are three teams, to me, that would make sense.
So we heard earlier when we were doing the show, DJ Mike T's back there. Now he's on the court. I heard Tweaker in the background, the new LiAngelo Ball song. So I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, we heard it. We heard it live out here. It's kind of everywhere right now. LiAngelo Ball is like the hottest rapper on the planet. Somehow, I don't know how this happened. But this made me think. We've heard a lot of different NBA players dip their toes into the hip-hop world. Who do you think is the best NBA rapper of all time?
The best NBA rapper to me of all time, lyricist, is Dame. Just because he takes it so seriously.
He does.
He absolutely puts the work in to be a lyricist. But the greatest of all time to me in terms of production and how he did it, it's got to be Twism from Shaq, man. Like Shaq, the way he produced it, the way, like, the fact that he did he had a feature with Biggie.
That's the thing.
And Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
And Fushnikins.
That's who brought him out, the Fushnikins, man. That was great. Yeah, but Shaq did it at a grander stage. But Dame is probably the best lyricist.
Shaq had platinum albums.
He did.
Shaq, he told me once he had 2 albums went platinum, 1 went gold, 2 went gold, and 1 went wood.
I didn't even realize he had 5 albums.
I think so.
Though.
Yeah, he did a lot of albums. And he was serious about it. And then,
those first 2 were really good albums.
Other guys that kind of messed, like Kobe messed around with it. There was that B-Ball's Greatest Secret album. Do you remember that?
I rember that. And AI had an album.
Allen Iverson Jules had the album. There's been other guys. Cedric Ceballos had a Jason Kidd had a song on that B-Ball's Greatest Hits album. There's been other guys who messed around, but I agree with you. Like, I think Dame clearly takes it the most seriously. But I think for some of these guys, it's kind of just like a fun thing to do on the side, and maybe Shaq just happened to be pretty good at it.
But see, here's the thing though. We're giving LiAngelo Ball a lot of credit because he never bounced the ball in the NBA yet, right?
That's true.
He's just the third brother. He's like Cooper Manning, right? But the fact that he found his passion in something else, man, that speaks to the level of talent.
And then he put out a hit. Like, that's the crazy part.
Man,
like,
I know.
Like, people love this song, and you're hearing it everywhere. I heard it yesterday at the Grizz Foundation, or the Day of Service.
The Day of Service.
The MLK Day of Service. I heard it here pregame. Like, Dame was talking about it. They were going to play it at. The Cavs said they were going to play it after their game last night.
They did. Yes.
So it's all over the place. So shout out the Balls. All right, but we talked about the Cavs beating OKC last night. That was a great game. Give me your top 5 teams in the NBA right now.
Man, my top 5 teams, obviously Cleveland is number 1, Oklahoma City 2, Boston 3, right? And then after you get after that, I think the Knicks are showing that they're rounding up there. And then you got to look at where you are in the West, like the Grizzlies and the Rockets. I think these two teams are fighting for that 5th spot for me. So, that's where it is. But then there's some other teams. Orlando, once they get healthy again, they're going to take another step up, and I think the Lakers are starting to turn a corner a little bit too. Denver's getting better once they get healthy. But the top 5, that's my top 5. What do you say?
I would agree with you, honestly. Like, I would have those same 5 teams. Maybe, like, you can move Houston, Memphis at the bottom of that. I don't know how they would go. But I would definitely, to me, like, the Cavs they look so good on offense.
Was that a finals preview?
No, because I think Boston might end up beating the Cavs by the time at the end of the season. If Boston's healthy and everyone's there, and like Porzingis is back and all that, like, I think they're kind of like the team that's kind of just trying to get through to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And they might turn things up once they get there. But right now, like, they were like, we've done this. We just got to get back there, and I think they're worried about that then.
And so, you know what, though, before we get off that topic, though, then in that case, then both Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers still leave a lot to be desired because most people don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's true.
You're saying they're vulnerable, and yet they've been dominant all season.
I think they're both awesome regular season teams. They got to do it in the postseason. And speaking of regular season teams, we got 2 great regular season teams right now. We're about to play the Grizzlies. Are about to face off with the Houston Rockets. We got about 30 seconds, so we got to get out of here. You can flip over to ESPN 92.9 on the radio. Hear Elliot Perry, Eric Hasseltine, Jessica Benson, Bennett Doyle, or over on FanDuel Sports Network for Fish and Chris Vernon,
BK
Pranica, who's worried about Notre Dame right now, and Brevin Knight. And we're going to be back here. Next home game is coming up a week from now, the MLK Day game.
Yes.
So we'll see you in a week from now. You've been watching the warm-up show here on Grind City Media.